You are listening to Veggie Doctor Radio, and this is episode number 250. Welcome to Veggie Doctor Radio. I am your host, Dr. Yami, board certified pediatrician, certified lifestyle medicine physician, certified health and wellness coach, author, speaker, mother, wife, and human being. I passionately believe in the power of diet, habits, and mindset in sparking and sustaining well-being and joy in our lives. This podcast combines expert interviews and thoughtful monologues to explore plant-based nutrition, lifestyle medicine, parenting, mindset, and other exciting and fun topics. I hope that these episodes inspire you, uplift you, and equip you with the knowledge and tools to live your best life. Are you ready to get started? Let's do it. Hello, veggie lovers. Welcome back to Veggie Doctor Radio. Today, I have with me Dr. Erin Mayfield, and we have a fun little conversation about her journey and how she's so passionate about lifestyle medicine. And y'all have heard me talk about lifestyle medicine and how much I love it and how I think it can be applied to every single specialty. I just wish more physicians discovered the power of lifestyle medicine and how it can be used along with our medications and all the things that we do, because it just augments. Sometimes it can even make it so that we don't need some of those other things. So you're going to hear about Dr. Mayfield and her experience, but let me read what she has to say about herself. So she's board certified in lifestyle medicine and obstetrics and gynecology, and she's Harvard Chef Coach certified. So this is what she says about herself. I started my own journey as a nursing major in college, where the ideas for taking care of the whole patient were born. Later, as a pre-med major, I fell in love with osteopathic medicine for the same reasons: commitment to care for the patient in a holistic way, instead of focusing treatment on one disease process. The philosophy followed me into my private OB-GYN practice of 30 years, caring for women of all ages. I read the book The China Study about 10 years ago, and it changed my life. Whole plant foods naturally cut my sugar cravings and provided abundance of critical nutrients that allowed me to lose 45 pounds. At 66, I feel terrific and love working out at my gym, doing HIIT workouts with young people. They inspire me. I know that if I can help people discover this incredible lifestyle at a younger age than they can be in even greater health when they reach my age and beyond. My lifestyle medicine practice is delivered via a telemedicine platform with live group coaching and cooking classes, and is so much fun. So in this conversation, we talk about her journey. We talk about how it's influenced her family members, why she's so passionate about lifestyle medicine. We talk about the difference from being a physician, an expert model, to the coaching model. We talk about where people struggle with when changing their lifestyle habits. And she shares a family story that is very powerful about some lifestyle and health change. And then we talk a little bit about body image and how things evolve over time in older ages. And we learn a little bit more about her. So yeah, I think it's really interesting because Dr. Mayfield moved to Florida with the intentions of retiring after practicing obstetrics and gynecology for 30 years, which is a long time. That's a long years of service and commitment. But then she just started another career because she was so infused with passion with lifestyle medicine, or from lifestyle medicine. So I love that. I love hearing these stories. I know that you'll also love hearing about Dr. Mayfield. If you're in Florida, you're close to her, you want to see what she's teaching, then definitely reach out. Thank you, veggie lovers, for being here. I hope that you enjoy this episode. And now, welcome Dr. Erin Mayfield. Dr. Erin Mayfield, welcome to Veggie Doctor Radio.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here, Dr. Yami.
Well, I'm so excited to get to know you a little bit better, but I want to start with your journey. So tell us about your plant-based journey. How did you discover plant-based nutrition, and how did it change your life and your career?
Oh my goodness. It's been a total life transformation, honestly. I officially discovered plant-based eating about 12 years ago when I read Dr. T. Colin Campbell's book, The China Study. And that really changed my life. I'd always been passionate about nutrition. I always counseled my GYN patients about nutrition and fitness and sleep. But I'd never really had any exposure to the science of plant-based nutrition before I read the China Study. So it turned my life around, and I took the deep dive. I was ready to lose weight. I was ready to work on my cravings. I'd had sugar cravings really my whole life, and I did. I eliminated meat, dairy, and I always drank my milk because I lectured patients about drinking their milk to get their calcium. So I eliminated meat, dairy, switched to plant-based milks, focused on my legumes, fruits and vegetables, new ways to cook them, and ended up losing 45 pounds and lost it naturally using foods from the grocery store. No extra supplements, no medications. It just seemed to come off. So I was very grateful for that. I felt terrific and continued to then counsel patients in the benefits of whole food plant-based nutrition. It was only after I moved to Florida, I left my practice in Covington, Georgia, moved with my husband to retire in Pensacola, Florida. And at the same time, my medical license was approved, and I was going to start working as a gynecologist. I fell and I completely ruptured my rotator cuff.
Oh, no.
And had to have surgery. Yes. So obviously during that rehab, it gave me a lot of time to read, and that's when I discovered lifestyle medicine and felt totally in love. Completed the coursework and board certification. But what was so enlightening to me was learning about the modern coaching methods and behavioral psychology that I did not have when I went to school in the 80s. That didn't exist, until it was actually born in the 90s. So what I realized when I went through that training was that all of the counseling that I did and working with women to help them lose weight and get better sleep and start an exercise program, I realized why it didn't work. And the reason that it didn't work was because they didn't have any support when they left my office. So it was a huge light bulb event for me. And I'm very excited about my new practice, which focuses on lifestyle medicine and hoping to bring these new modern coaching methods to people to support them long term so that they can reach their health goals and transition to a whole food plant-based diet.
I love it. That's amazing. Well, let's step back a little bit. How long ago was it that you adopted a whole food plant-based diet?
It was about 12 years ago. Once I read the China Study, that was it. It made sense, and it was solid science, but it made sense. It made common sense, and it was so doable. Mm-hmm. So that's when I really dove in and eliminated the meat and dairy.
And has your lifestyle change influenced your family and your friends?
Oh, it absolutely has. My husband was always our cook. He was really a chef. And he makes beautiful meals, but we used meat. I mean, that was a traditional thing to do. And that's what we do in the American culture is we always add meat to our meals. So it was more of a transition for him, but he has also improved his health. He loves his plant-based smoothies. He also lost 40 pounds in the transition. My whole family's really been affected, and I have a story that I'll tell you later about my brother and his diabetes. So yes, I mean, everybody's health has improved because of plant-based eating.
I love it. That's amazing. It really does create a ripple effect, and sometimes you don't even realize the ripple effect it's creating just by living by example. Well, let's transition back to lifestyle medicine. Why are you so passionate about lifestyle medicine?
Because lifestyle medicine is truly the answer for people to regain power of their health and to change their destinies. It's so profound and powerful, knowing that we can get back to basics, eating fruits and vegetables, and that the compounds contained in the fruits and vegetables are more powerful and more healing than any pharmaceutical agent that we could take. We know that there are no drugs that actually restore health, but we see in lifestyle medicine with whole food plant-based eating that indeed happens, that we can reverse cardiovascular disease, we can reverse diabetes, we can prevent the onset of dementia, we can reverse multiple sclerosis and autoimmune diseases, all focusing on plant-based eating. And it's the most powerful movement I've ever seen in my career in medicine. In almost 40 years of practicing as a physician, it's absolutely thrilling. And so it just lights my fire. I've got to keep talking about it.
I love it. I love to see your face light up and the happiness and the joy come through. So reflect a little bit more on that, because I think that a lot of people don't realize how discouraged physicians have become over time, especially physicians, which I think the majority of physicians went into medicine because they are helpers and servants and they really want to make a difference. And right now I think the public is so confused because they have forgotten that about physicians. But I also think physicians have, over time, because they've gotten kind of jaded by the system and everything that's going on, have lost their hope and enthusiasm. So reflect a little bit more upon that, that difference between the traditional medical system, traditional healthcare, and the difference between that and lifestyle medicine and how it makes you feel as a physician and a healer.
Oh, well, it's very exciting. It's very exciting to see this evidence-based medicine for us to tap into and use. I think it's important for physicians to be curious about it, to really open their minds and their hearts to it. It's so easy to look at plant-based nutrition or the nutrition science with our background and having practiced medicine for so many years and say, I don't believe it. And I know that. I mean, I felt that way initially when I read it. I said, well, this couldn't be true. This is too good to be true. But in fact, it is true. And thousands of patients have had, for example, their diabetes reversed using these principles. So that's the power and that's the excitement. We have the power to help people change their destinies. One other part of lifestyle medicine that I didn't know before I went through the training was that we actually have the power to change our genetics. For so many years, we've been fed information, and was probably the best information that we knew at the time, was that we are a product of our genetics, that we have no control over our genetics. But with all the research and technology that demonstrates that, yes, we can actually change our DNA. We can change the telomeres at the end of the chromosomes to be healthier, to grow longer, even within 2 hours of eating a plant-based meal. And that's what gives us the potential to turn on healthy genes, turn off unhealthy genes, turn off cancer-promoting genes, and live a long and healthy life. Feel younger and stronger. And it's just, I just can't stop talking about it. I'm sure my husband's tired of hearing about it.
He's like, enough about lifestyle medicine. No, but I
It's
agree.
all day, every day.
I agree. I think that lifestyle medicine is so empowering. And,
Yes.
we all have differences. We all have individual differences, and not everybody's going to have the exact same response. But even just knowing
That's
that
right.
it's possible, so making the effort to make changes to see what happens,
Yeah.
I think is something that a lot of people don't hear about, aren't presented the options anymore from the traditional medical system, because it's not known or it's not trusted that something as simple as eating more plants could be so
Yeah.
incredibly powerful, and especially putting it together with managing stress and getting adequate sleep and moving your body and connecting with others, and of course avoidance of those risky substances and behaviors. I think that combining all of that together is so powerful that it can completely transform somebody's life. But along those same lines, you mentioned earlier some of the things that you've learned as you've studied lifestyle medicine. And one of the things you brought up is the difference between the way that a physician interacts with a patient and the way that a coach interacts with a client. So can you touch upon that a little bit so that our listeners understand the difference and why that is also so important whenever we are helping people adopt new healthy habits and behaviors?
Oh, absolutely. So we know in the traditional medical model, we go in for our checkups, or something's wrong, we go in, we see a physician, we're lucky to see them for 15 minutes because they're under pressure also. And of course, we as physicians, we analyze the problem the best we can, we come up with a potential solution, we talk to patients about that. Okay, this is what you have to do. They get a sheet of paper and they walk out the door, but then there's no support after that. And now I can see that's why I felt ineffective helping my women lose weight or even stop gaining weight. They just had no support when they left the office, and they had to go back to their families. They have to go back to the culture that they live in. And there isn't any way to help them change that or work within that system if I just see them once a year. In contrast to coaching, with coaching, we meet the patient where they are, meet our clients where they are. We explore what their culture is like, what their resources are like, and what they're interested in, what foods they enjoy, what foods they don't like, and then we move forward from there. So we both have a goal, and that is improve their health. And in fact, in my practice now, I take 30 to 45 minutes to learn about who they are, what they love to eat, what they don't like to eat, what their kitchen resources are, what their family support is, and then we start making the plan. And then they know that they'll take it one step at a time. They can always come back to me with problems or issues or questions. And it's a gradual process. It's not just, okay, do this and go home and figure it out.
Yeah.
So I think it makes all the difference in the world. And they need to know that it's a gradual process. It's like we have to open doors. We have to help open doors in a non-judgmental environment that we are there to help and support. But the goal is achievable. Mm-hmm. It's always achievable as long as they are curious and open to trying new things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, habit and behavior change takes time, but it also needs to be individualized. And I think one of the big differences between this physician expert model is we as physicians, we're trained to just basically say, this is your problem, this is what you need to do, see you later. You just do it. And then there's this huge assumption that if you just tell somebody what to do, they're just going to do it, right? But then we've realized, as we've learned more about coaching methods, that that's not the case, that we have this thing between our ears that can create a lot of drama for us, right? Like so many fears come up, all these obstacles come up. Yeah. And I think with coaching, one of the key words is exploration. Just like you were saying, we sit down with clients and we bring that out. What are your fears? Oh, one of your biggest fears is that you're not going to be able to enjoy social gatherings with your family. That's a big deal. I know some people that they hang out with their family like like their extended family, 5 nights a week. And so if they're so afraid that it's going to come between them and their family, they're not going to be able to make that habit behavior change. How can we individualize it? How how can we make it so that it lowers that threshold for you that you're going to be able to try some of these things? And what really are your goals? Because I think also as
Yeah.
physicians, we assume that everybody's goals should be the same. You should want to be this body size. You should want to
Yes.
all be able to have this level of fitness or whatever, but everybody's goals are different. So I think that those are really big key differences between the physician expert model and the coaching model that are really important for people to understand, because we have a lot of coaches available now, and when people are looking for a different kind of support and accountability, they can start looking for that type of model as well. So speaking of behavior change, where do your patients and your clients struggle the most with changing their lifestyle habits? In your experience, what have you seen?
Well, as we talked about, it's very individualized. I know I can talk about my struggles, actually, and that is I actually had an eating disorder really for my entire life. I was a compulsive overeater, and I played around with bulimia in grade school. And a little bit. I really didn't like it. And it was a curious thing to me because at that time we had no social media. We had 3 channels on the television. Television turned off at 11 o'clock at night. So I had no exposure to that at that age. It just happened. And I don't know how that happens in children when you've never seen it before. So I've had this issue with the sugar cravings. I mean, always craving sugar. And what I found and what I see other people experience who focus on plant-based eating is that when you get away from the refined sugar, if you can just say to yourself, I know that the refined sugar is bad for me, and so I'm going to make a pact with myself to eat healthy food first. And then I can eat the refined sugar if I absolutely have to later, but I'm going to promise I'm going to eat the healthy food first. And that works for me, and it's worked for many of my patients, where we kind of leave the door open initially, that it's okay for us to go to those foods if we want to. It's very similar to what you had in your book, which I thought was brilliant, about having the play foods. And everybody has their own drawer in the kitchen. That's where you reserve that to yourself, but then over time you realize, well, you really don't want that after all. And you feel so much better with your healthy foods. Why do that to your body? So my taste buds did change. I regained my love of fruit. I've seen that in patients where all of a sudden fruit is sweet again, where it wasn't for a long time. And then you start to crave those things. And then now, before I couldn't walk through the grocery store without picking up pastries. And now I can walk through the bakery department and say, yeah, not today. It's not a good thing. So those types of commitments, those types of little changes where you reflect inside and you set your goals, you decide what you want, and you do it one day at a time, it actually, for me, it's a very powerful way to help people with behavior change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, baby steps, but also tuning in, because just like you were saying, whenever we do things just by external measures, it doesn't stick. It really has to, we have to feel it inside our bodies. And I think that that's an important point that you brought up. And, just talking about things like, there was a time in my life where I couldn't get enough of some things. And now I look at it and I'm just like, I honestly just don't want that. Like, it just does not seem appealing to me because my brain remembers how I feel when I eat that way. Like, it tastes good here in my mouth, but then once it gets inside my body, I'm just like, I don't want that feeling. I don't want to feel that way. So
yes, that's it.
Can you share with us a couple of stories from your patients? And it sounds like you wanted to share one from a family member as well that you have found powerful.
Oh, it was phenomenal. My brother has basically had uncontrolled diabetes for years. He's a professional. He travels a lot. He did all the appropriate counseling and blood sugar testing when he was younger, and it just didn't work for him. He couldn't figure out how to fit all of that into his business life. So a year ago, December, he had open heart surgery, 5-vessel bypass at 60 years old.
Wow.
And I went up and stayed with him for the week after he was discharged from the hospital. And I said, okay, I'm happy to come. I'm doing all the cooking. He had not even known that glucose sensors existed. So we slapped a glucose sensor on. And within 72 hours of switching him to a plant food diet, eliminating the meat, dairy, salt, fat, and sugar, he was hypoglycemic at night. And we were able to discontinue 3 of his diabetic medications at bedtime. So we got him to the point within 72 hours that he was able to go without diabetic medication at bedtime to normalize his sugars. So, and he was proud, he was thrilled. He'd not seen a blood sugar of 100. Well, really, he'd never seen a blood sugar of 70, before that. And all of a sudden, he's waking up with fasting sugars of 115, 120. So it was a phenomenal move for him. He was very excited about it, and he experienced the power of plant-based eating, and he lost 25 pounds right away. But again, it was natural, and it's what I love to emphasize to people, and that is, if you do this, if you focus on the food and you supply your body with this high octane fuel, then all of these wonderful things happen on their own. You don't have to worry about how many fat grams you're eating, how many calories you're eating. You don't have to feel guilty anymore about what you eat. You don't have to get up the next day and go, oh, why did I do that yesterday? Like, all of that just slowly disappears, and it's so liberating. It fuels my passion, fuels my mission.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, has your brother maintained the lifestyle, or has he struggled to maintain it?
He's had struggles, but overall, yes, he has maintained it. When he was able to go on his first cruise after surgery, he was very proud that he went on the cruise without eating one bite of red meat. So, and I was proud of him too. So, absolutely, he's seen a big shift. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's vegan cruises now too. And I don't know if you've heard of the Holistic Holiday at Sea. I think they've had it for over 15 years. And it's full plant-based, and you can even find SOS-free food the majority of the time too. So there's the buffets are ridiculous because it's all of these vegetables and beans and whole grains, but it's a dream come true for whole food plant-based eaters. It's wonderful.
No, it absolutely is. It's so refreshing to...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's so refreshing to walk into a buffet, just like we had at the Lifestyle Medicine Conference, where you are able to eat everything on the buffet. Mm-hmm. It's so rare.
Yeah. And eat till you're satisfied, which is my favorite.
Yes.
So, all right, well, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about body image, because this is something that I really enjoy exploring. It sounds like you've read my book, and so I think that this is an important topic for all ages, not just for children. So I'm curious about body image in later decades, because I know that you also focus on working with people in the later decades. What are your thoughts about how people's perceptions of their bodies evolve over time? I know this is one of these questions that's really important to me, because when I was younger and I struggled with my disordered eating, I made these assumptions that when you get to a certain age, you don't have disordered eating anymore. Like, you just don't worry about it anymore. When I realized that it's not necessarily true. So from your clients, from people around you, are you seeing people coming in that are still struggling with dieting and those kinds of things?
Oh, I think most Americans are. And especially women, because they don't have the tools. They don't have the tools to transition to whole food plant-based eating. They don't have the recipes that they can cook for their family. They may have had bad experiences with certain types of vegetables when they were younger. I mean, most people who've been exposed, for example, to Brussels sprouts, only know soggy Brussels sprouts, and they will never touch them again in their lives unless we can introduce them to a new, delicious way of cooking them. So that's part of the problem. Absolutely, absolutely Americans and women struggle with overeating and emotional eating. And it's one of those complex problems that we need to work on in our coaching because it just doesn't go away on its own. I know for myself, part of my transition in learning how to move away from emotional overeating is the commitment to eating healthy foods and the commitment to eating fruits and vegetables and reaching for fruit instead of cookies when I have cravings. But if we focus on the whole plant foods, it's so healing in so many ways because we improve the fiber going into our colon, we improve the microbiome. The microbiome produces more happy chemicals. We feel better. We feel stronger. We feel like going out. We feel like going to the gym. And it's a really lovely, positive reinforcement circle of life. And once you get started and you feel how good it is, you can keep going. But absolutely, people struggle with eating issues their entire lives.
Do you feel that people come to you for weight loss as one of the major reasons, or are people starting to understand the importance of just well-being and longevity? What is really the motivation that initially brings people to you?
I think the initial motivation is that they don't feel good and they can't lose weight. Mm-hmm. And then the more we talk about nutrition science, and they see light at the end of the tunnel, they see that they have power over their destinies by changing what they eat and using food from the grocery store. All of the problems that they struggle with just start to self-resolve mm-hmm. because of the action that they're taking to improve their health.
And they start to feel better. So that also
they start to feel better.
Has a positive mm-hmm. upward spiral. What do you wish more people knew?
For me, it always comes back to the power of whole plant foods and the healing compounds that they contain. And that when you focus on eating whole plant foods and you start to feel better, that improves every other segment of your life. It improves your sleep. It improves your energy. It improves your colon function. Constipation goes away. How many people suffer with constipation? It's a horrible problem to suffer with. It's very painful. So all of that is very self-healing when we focus on the whole plant foods. Fitness is also huge. I love to talk to women about how critical fitness over age 60 is. We all know we lose muscle mass, but we've got to get into the gym and do some weightlifting twice a week so that we can improve our bone health, improve our muscle strength, improve the strength of our tendons, and fight aging. It's just the perfect way to fight aging.
Mm-hmm. Are you finding that your patients and clients are more open-minded to doing resistance training and doing a little bit of weightlifting?
They are. Once we start talking about it, and once they have some role models mm-hmm. to see. I mean, I love to let people know how I go to the gym. I love to go to the gym. I feel good when I go to the gym. I go to the gym with young people. They energize me. It's loud music. It's not anything I normally listen to, but it's exciting because I can go there and I can go, I can puff up my chest and say, I can work out with these young people. I'm going to show them that I have muscles too. And then I work harder and I do a better job. And they can also see, hey, my grandmother can do this. I need to get my grandmother into the gym because it's possible, because you need to work on your fitness really for the rest of your life. And that's part of that's part of joyful living. It's part of feeling good as you get older. Absolutely is.
Yeah, I love that. I read on your website that you were talking about how inspired you are to be around young people that are,
yes.
Being fit and doing all our things. But I feel the opposite is also true. I get super inspired when I'm around older people in later decades, and they're still moving their bodies and they're happy. And right, we just moved to a new location. And one of the reasons that I wanted to have a bigger space is so that I can have a multi-purpose teaching studio so that we can
Oh,
have regular yoga and meditation. And one of the things I envisioned is that I wanted people of all ages. 'Cause I'm a pediatrician, so I mostly see,
yeah.
of course, kids. Their parents obviously come with them, but it's mostly about kids. But I wanted to see people in older generations so that we can inspire each other, right? Like older
Yes,
people get inspired
yes.
by younger people can get inspired by older people that are doing everything they can to maintain their well-being and longevity so that they
Yeah.
can enjoy their lives, enjoy their families, and then continue to contribute to our society and to the joy, the collective joy of everybody. So I know that when you go to the gym, you're also inspiring other people. So it's a mutual benefit to everybody. Go work out, have fun, enjoy their
Yes,
bodies and moving their bodies in the way that makes sense for them.
yes. And to avoid being preoccupied with how you look in gym clothes. I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And we've got people of all ages in our gym. I'm probably the oldest, but we've got all sizes too. And I so admire young women for putting on their tight gym clothes and they get in there and they work out. And me, in my younger years, I was too embarrassed about my body image to do that. But you don't have to be. You need to go in there, get your workout in, enjoy it, and be proud. Be proud of what you're doing. Be proud of your body. Your body's a miracle. It works in mysterious ways. And the more you learn, the more gratitude you have for our Creator and how He gave our bodies the tools to heal ourselves. We just need to take advantage of them.
Yeah, so beautiful. Well, I want to ask you a few personal questions about you. Do you have a morning routine? And if so, can you share it with us?
Oh, yes. Oh, I would love to do that. The first thing I do when I get out of bed is I drink 16 to 24 ounces of water. First thing, I have water at my bedside. If I get up in the middle of the night, I drink not a lot because you don't want to get up and run to the bathroom with a full bladder. That disrupts your sleep, but I always drink some if I wake up. And of course, when you're menopausal, you have dry mucous membranes. You need to moisturize your mucous membranes in your mouth more often. So I grab my water right away. Run around. I usually go to the gym. I love my morning workouts. We do HIIT workouts where it's a combination of aerobic and weightlifting. I concentrate on the weightlifting part. I love to use landlines, slam balls, kettlebells. I'm proud to say I can plank with a 25-pound weight on my back.
Nice.
But I love that. It energizes me for the day. I take a shower. I'm ready to roll. And it wakes up my brain. The other thing that happens in the morning is I'm regular. Why am I regular? I'm regular because I eat my fruits and vegetables. And so many people suffer with the exact opposite. So it is an important way to start your day. And when you eat your fruits and vegetables, you can count on it. It's just like clockwork, and it's delightful. So that's how I get started. And then after my workout, then I'll eat either a plant-based breakfast like overnight oats with fruit, or I make a smoothie with fruit, plant-based milk. I'll throw in either ground flax, chia, or hemp hearts. And a little bit of cocoa, and I'm in the mood for chocolate.
Nice little morning treat. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, what's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal is probably lunch.
What do you like to eat for lunch? What's your favorite thing to eat for lunch?
Something with beans. Beans and whole grains, and then more vegetables. Absolutely. Lots of greens. I love greens at dinner. Just a big bowl of greens with lots of stuff on it. So.
Sounds amazing. Well, Dr. Mayfield, this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for joining us today. Where can listeners connect with you, and what products and services do you offer?
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you and meeting you, Dr. Yami. The official name of my medical practice is Lifestyle Medicine, Wellness, and Recovery. We have online courses, telemedicine courses, live interactive group coaching with live cooking classes. We have a 4-week option and an 8-week option. We're getting ready to launch our monthly culinary club, which is really a very no-pressure environment where people can come in for live coaching and nutrition instruction and have a cooking class a couple times a month. And then in the Pensacola area, in the Panhandle of Florida, I have a lovely associate, Chef Heather Flowers, who was also a certified wound care nurse in her prior career. So we go out and we do culinary medicine classes in public. We can do private workshops. We can do private dinners. So we're accessible to people to teach and share plant-based nutrition and delicious plant-based recipes.
I love it. It sounds like you're staying pretty busy and active in your retirement. Doesn't sound much like a retire. It's just more like career 2.0, right?
It is. It's career 2.0. It is.
I love
and
it.
It's so much fun. Yes.
That's just great.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That to me is also inspiring because I'm definitely a lifelong learner that can't imagine, quote, retiring, So that is also very inspiring. Okay, final question before we let you go. Leave us with your number one tip for people over the age of 60 that want to improve their well-being and increase their longevity. Where should they start?
Always start with whole food plant-based eating. Always. There's so many wonderful resources on the internet now. I direct people to the Forks Over Knives webpage because you can watch that documentary for free right on the homepage. Plus, they've got tons of nutrition resources, lots of recipes. I love to also direct people to the Mastering Diabetes program with Dr. Kambata and Robbie Barbero. Mm-hmm. Dr. Saray Stanczyk's documentary Code Blue and The Game Changers. All of those documentaries are an easy way for people to understand how powerful plant-based eating is and to give them resources. And then all of these good things happen after that. You focus on the diet, you feel better, you lose weight, you're ready to start an exercise program. Find someone to exercise with. There are all kinds of groups that love to walk together. There are all kinds of local groups on Facebook that people can explore. People who love to get out, who want friends to walk together, they're out there. If there's a local Walk with a Doc chapter, get out and walk with your local doctor. Ask questions. It's free. So there are lots of resources out there, but when you start with the nutrition, you increase your well-being and it motivates you to do more.
Yeah, it has such a huge impact, and then it cascades onto all the other habits.
Absolutely.
Well, Dr. Erin Mayfield, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for everything that you do. It was such a pleasure to meet you. I'm grateful for all that you're doing in the world and how you're helping people get healthier and empower them with all of this knowledge. And I hope that you have a very plantastic day.
Oh, well, thank you, Dr. Yami. We're so grateful for all of the work you do and your 1 million downloads on your podcast. How many people you've reached. It's just fabulous. And I'd also like to mention your book is wonderful for everyone, not just parents who are raising children. That book is so full of wisdom. I would encourage everyone to buy your book.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey, veggie lover. I hope that you loved today's episode. Will you take a second and do me a huge favor? Please subscribe to my podcast so that you never miss an episode. You're the reason I'm here, and I want to share it all with you. Thank you for listening and have a plantastic day.